Oke. Tadinya saya ingin membacakan CV-nya Mr. Robert Mikat, tapi dia bilang katanya saya ingin memperkenalkan diri saya sendiri, nggak usah dikenalin. Jadi nanti langsung kenalan aja dengan Mr. Robert Mikat ya. So, do you ready for this one? Do you ready? Udah siap? Udah siap mendengarkan? Fokus ya, jangan bicara sendiri ya. Kita hormati tamu internasional ini. Nah, ini dia nggak ngerti ya saya ngomong ke kalian. Nanti pada saat dia presentasi tolong perhatikan dengan seksama ya. Fokus dulu ke sini, hindari ngobrol, pegang handphone segala macam. Ya kita fokus dulu ya. Oke, Mr. Robert, it's time is your. Please welcome. Give a applause to Mr. Robert Mikat.
Hello, good day. Thank you very much. We are ready that my presentation will be start. And dear all, thank you very much for having me here. Dear rector, dear vice rector, dear deans, dear vice deans, dear professors, dear teachers, and especially dear students. Thank you very much for having me today here to have possibility to exchange the views and of course that we learn from each other. It is my third time that I visit Indonesia. It is my third time to be in Bandar Lampung, and it is my third time to visit the Univ. And first of all, I want to thank to Professor Ari, Professor Tio. We have great cooperation till now. Professor Ari twice visit Croatia. It is my third time to be here, and we strongly believe that we will just start our cooperation, that we will provide that cooperation for the future. In that cooperation, we have a very strong support of Indonesian embassy in Croatia. Thank you, Ari, for that. Thank you for that. Ari helped us a lot to establish that academic cooperation, and we also have very strong support of Croatian embassy here in Indonesia. It is very important. Today, I will talk about topic what we have. It is Bela Negara. And I will try to explain you regarding to that, what is important regarding to that concept and everything what is also important when we talk about state defense and how also you like as students can be good citizens of your country and can support your country. I asked the colleague from IT just to put my presentation. Thank you.
Mas Rama, ininya materinya perfect.
Until then, I will tell you a little bit more about my country. Croatia is a small country in southeastern Europe. We have less than 4 million inhabitants. That is pretty much a small population. We are a full member of European Union, and also we are a full member of the NATO alliance. From the 1st of January next year, we will be also a full member of the Schengen area, and also Euro will be our official money. We will change our official currency from the 1st of January next year. And with that, we will start my presentation. I please ask the next slide. And it is something what I want to say that nama saya Robert, apa kabar, and it is the flags of course, Indonesia and my country. And with that, usually I have, the pointer and I present my presentation by myself and then go, some slides that I want, but it will be also good on that way. Please, next slide. I will tell you a little bit about my university. University of Zagreb, it is the oldest university in my country and also in Southeastern Europe. It's established in 1669 in the 17th century. And from that time, we are working totally without any stop. That means more than 350 years. And also it is the biggest university in Southeastern Europe. We have approximately 75,000 students. Many of them are also international. We also have some students from Indonesia. We have totally 34 faculties and more than 5,000 employees, professors who work for our university. And it is pretty much huge university. It is not the campus university. It is city university. That means that we have our faculties all over the city. And it is also maybe good time because you have also possibility to research the city when you try to find where is the other faculties. Okay, the next slide, please. I will very shortly introduce myself right now at the faculty. It is my 5th job. I started in the military. First of all, I was Before that, I was conscript in my country. I served 1 year in the military. It was obligatory for every man in my country to serve 1 year for the country, like conscript. After that, I want to stay in the military. And I was, first of all, I was a soldier, then a not commissioned officer, after that commissioned officer. I was for 5 years officer who served in anti-terroristic company of military police of my country. I also served in Afghanistan. I was there in 2005 in the capacity of the International Military Police platoon commander. And I was twice awarded for that mission because I was part of the rescue mission. On that time, one Italian female doctor was kidnapped inside of the Kabul city, and I was part of the group who rescued that lady. And my final position, I was commander of the military police company. After that, I wanted to change my position to learn new things, to see systems from inside. And my second job, I was head of the National 112 Center. You know, from the American movies, they have the 911. In Europe, we have 112. It is unique number for all Europe. And when you have any challenges, you can call that number and you will get support. And I was for some years head of that center in my country. It is crisis management body of my government who prepared the decisions, who prepared some analysis for the government. After that, once again, I want to change my position. And my third job, I was working inside of the Ministry of Interior. And I was independent police inspector working on classical police duties. After that, I get a possibility to once again change position. And I was commander of civil protection of my country. I have a lot of experience with the natural and man-made disasters, for example, floods, forest fires, migrant crisis, and these kind of things. And finally, right now, from 2015 until now, I'm professor at the University of Zagreb, Faculty of Political Science. But additional to that, I was for a few years, I was head of the military study. It is joint venture between the Ministry of Education and Ministry of the Defense. And because of that, most of my subjects I teach at the military academy. And for 4 years, I was advisor in the Homeland Security Council of the President of the state. It was my career. Besides of that, when I was young, when I was your ages, then I practiced scuba diving, martial arts, mountain climbing, parachuting, and finally I finished for the sport pilot. Can I get the next slide, please? Until now, I published 7 books. Here is the 6 of them. It is basically about security and defense policy. The books are published on the Croatian language, English language, and the Macedonian language. And I'm most proud that on the last one. Next slide, please. The last one is published this year, and it is published by Routledge. Routledge, it is the global leader of the book publishing, a scientific book. And for that book, my friend Alessandro Lazzari from Italy and me, we spent almost 3 years to analyze the situation, to get the data, and finally to write the book. And it is pretty much good because it is published by the Routledge. Next slide, please. Okay, it is the content of my presentation. First of all, I will have a few words about introduction, what is state defense, how we can look on the state defense. Then I will discuss 3 levels or 3 possibilities, how we can be involved in state defense. First, it will be about physical, military-related approach. The next one, second one, it will be unphysical or civilian approach. And third one, I will show you something, maybe it will be brand new for you, but it is something what we can take that it is extended approach to the state defense. Then, of course, I will have conclusion. And of course, I'm looking forward for your questions and I will provide the answer. So we can start. First slide, please. Or next slide, please. Or please go on. Or can you click? Okay. State defense, we can say that it is the concept with which we want to proceed and we want to frame how we're going to defend our state. It is not just by the military. Today, I will show you also other possibilities, but also when we can talk about how we can be involved, of course, it is military or physically related things, but also it is non-military, it is not physical related things. It is also how persons like students can be involved in the subjects regarding to the state defense. Next slide, please. Also, some examples on this slide, you can see some examples from the countries like United States, Germany, Spain, United Kingdom. They have the services that they countrymen need to serve for the country. Additionally, you have the United States National Guard. For example, I was 3 times visiting the Minnesota National Guard to see how they are dealing their business in everyday life. After that, you have another countries. For example, it is Taiwan, Korea, or Israel, where it's mandatory for the mostly male, but also for the female to serve the military conscripts. And regarding to the Europe, in the previous time, it was also obligatory for all of the countries, and that young men and sometimes also females serve in the military. When I was young, then it was that was mandatory, so I also serve in the military like conscripts for 1 year. Next slide, please. And also, when we talk about state defense, we can talk about what is the basic elements, how we can defend the country, and it is what we know. It is to love your country. It is to be aware about your national and about state relations, to obey the constitutions, to have the willingness to sacrifice for your country, and of course, it is necessary to fight for your country. And also some additional examples in regard to state defense. It is physical protection, of course. Then it is to preserve the culture of your country, to study hard, especially that means for the students, to obey the laws and the regulations. And also it is very necessary to obey domestic products. It is important because of economy, because of domestic production, and because of employment and other things. So please, next slides. So when we talk about first level, it is about physical or military related approach. I will discuss 3 topics: defense the country, preparation for defense the country, and support to civilian institutions during the crisis. I will use some global examples, and I will use some examples from the Europe, and also I will use some examples from my country. So we will start with the first one. It is how we can defend our country. Please, next slide. On this slide, you can see wide range of the different ways of the crisis, conflicts, and wars, and it is a situation for which we need to prepare our military in our country. So we need to educate military personnel, we need to train them, we need to develop the concepts and doctrinal documents, how we're gonna, for example, fight, or how we're gonna support our nation during some period of the crisis. Next slide, please. On this slide, you can see, and obviously everybody know that right now in Europe, you have the war between the Russian regime and Ukraine. Russian regime attacked the Ukraine. And because of that, obviously, the Ukrainians need to defend the country by the military means. It is not possible to defend the country by other means because you are attacked. So you need to defend your country by the military means. That means that all capable men and female, all the companies, all the people who can support them, small enterprises are involved to defend the country because the country is attacked from outside. Next slide, please. Also, we can discuss, and it is also very important to discuss that we also can defend our country regarding cyber attacks. Most the countries all over the world are daily attacked by the cyber crimes, cyber criminals, cyber terrorists, cyber attackers. So also it is important to educate ourselves regarding those cyber threats, how we can protect ourselves, but also how our systems are functioning, and that we have capable systems, capable manpower, and capable solutions, how we can defend our country in cyberspace. Next slide, please. The third one, we can also defend our country sending our men and female, our military policemen, military soldiers, to send them in the peace support operations. All over the world, you have many crises. What is happened, for example, in Africa, Middle East, or for example, in Afghanistan in the past. So international community sent many troops over there to defend that country, and also it is the policy of our countries that our countries also defend them in these areas who have the crisis, because we want to prevail that this crisis will come to us. The next slide, please. Additionally, for example, for some of the European Union or some Europe or some North American countries, it is pretty much the way how you can defend the country. It is that you become the part of the, for example, NATO alliance, because NATO alliance, it is the most powerful military alliance through all human history. And right now have 30 member states. The biggest one and most influential it is United States of America. And especially for the small countries, it is pretty much important to be part, for example, NATO alliance, because you have a lot of opportunities in this NATO alliance, and also have opportunities to learn, to educate, to adjust your system, and also have opportunity to be part of the collective defense umbrella. The next slide, please. Also, when we talk about the conscriptions around the world, you can see it is from the last year data that many countries still around the world have that mandatory conscription services. That means that also you can defend your country, that you will serve in your country military conscription service. You will learn not just how to deal with the weapon, how to deal with the ammunition. You will learn many other additional important things. And because of that, it is also one way how we can teach about this thing. Next slide, please. It is also, for example, I took the picture of the Indonesian army, and I took the picture of the Indonesian army because every army needs to have the exercises. So one of the goals how you can prepare yourself for the defending your country is to train, to learn, to exercise your skills, to improve your skills, and to be every day better, better man, better community service, better soldier. And on that way, you also defend your country. Next slide, please. It is the example from the United States of America. Each of the federal states in the United States, they have National Guard. We call that militias. And this kind of the militias, it is the not fully member states. They have the very short, very small professional corps. And the rest of the military personnel who are engaged in this kind of the militias are the volunteers who on the few times during the year who serve, who learn, who educate themselves how to be part of the militias. I was 5th time in Minnesota, and 5th time I was a guest of the Minnesota National Guard. I have a possibility to change the views and experience with them on the different matters. Next slide, please. Also, it is regarding on these two pictures, I want to show you the examples of territorial army. For example, these pictures are right now taken from the Ukraine because the country is attacked. And because of that, all the personnel who is capable and was physical in the power have a mandatory obligation to be part of the territorial defense of their country. So you have also possibility to be involved and to learn about how you can defend your country through this kind of exercises. Next slide, please. Okay, right now we are on the part supporting of civilian institutions during the crisis. And the next few slides are from my country. For example, right now we have the military who support the civilians during the medical evacuations. For example, like Indonesia have more than 17,000 islands. My country have more than 1,000 islands. And also on these islands, we have a lot of inhabitants. We don't have pretty much good connection by boats regarding to that islands. And when something has happened on the island and you need to evacuate the people from the island, then we use the military assets to help us how to evacuate people from the island to the hospital on the main ground. Next slide, please. Okay. The next one, it is example about search and rescue operations. Once again, we use the military assets because we are a touristic country and more than 20% of our national budget come from the tourism. A lot of tourists love to come to research and to explore our country. And sometimes it is happened very often. Some of the tourists are lost in the country. So we usually take the military assets, and we usually take the Croatian mountain and rescue service, and we try to search and try to rescue the, for example, students who are lost inside of the country. The next one, we are pretty much in danger by the forest fires. So once again, we use the military assets to try to fight the forest fires. And it is pictures how we do it. The military assets who help the civilians, firefighters, to try to fight the fires who was very, very dangerous for our country. Or military-related approach. In next 10 slides, I will show you how you unphysically or civilian-related approach be part of defending of your country. And I will talk about education, civil defense, and voluntarism. Regarding to education, it is picture from Croatian Military Academy. I teach over there. I teach 5 courses over there. And we try to teach the military cadets when they finish the faculty, when they finish the academy, they will become the officer in our military. We try to teach them not just how to use the weapon. They have all civilian subjects, like what we also teach at the Faculty of Political Science. So we try to educate them how to be good citizens, how to love the country, how to obey the constitutions and other things. It is very important. Like we have the military academy, we also have the police academy. It is also the basic principles are the same. At that academy, we also like to learn and like to teach to our students what is important, not just to be the police officers. It is also important to be good citizens of our country, to respect the law, to respect the other members of our society, to be helpful, to help them, and of course, to end of the day, to be good citizens of our country. Third example is it is civilian education. It is from my faculty. We also teach our students about what is the national defense, what is national security, how to deal in the crisis situation, what is the crisis situation, and of course, how the politics works, what is international relations, and what is our role like individual, and also what is our role like a state to be part of international community. The next approach, it is about civil defense. When we talk about civil defense, then we talk about 2 things. It is the level of the companies, and each strategic state level company in my country need to be part, and it is the part of the civilian preparation for defense of the country. It is the mandatory for all companies in Croatia, and also on the level of individuals, state organized possibility that we have the concept of territorial defense. And because of that, each individuals have the possibility to be part also of territorial defense of our country. After that, when we talk about the voluntarism, and voluntarism, it is something what is pretty much common and pretty much high level attention in all countries in Europe. For example, we have the volunteers in a civil protection, because we know when some earthquakes or some floods or some fires or some other man-made or natural disasters happen, then you need a lot of manpower to deal with some things. And because of that, we try to develop this kind of the voluntarism in my country, mainly through different associations. One of them, it is civil protection. And also it is very important on European Union level. Also European Union try to improve that relation between the Union and citizens, to be much more citizens involved in civil protection on the national and also on the European Union level. The next picture show you the voluntarism from the perspective of the Red Cross or Red Crescent societies. They are also very important because they try to help in everyday situation for the elderly people, for the people in the rural area who don't access to the, this kind of normal services what we have in the urban area. And because of that, their support to our elderly population, it is pretty much important. The next example of volunteerism we have in the mountain and the rescue service, because we have also, like in your country, we have a lot of mountains. And in these mountains, also people are living over there and the tourists try to research these mountains. And because of that, every day we lost some people in the mountains. And because of that, once again, you need a lot of manpower to search and try to rescue the people. And because of that, also volunteerism inside of the mountain rescue service, it is pretty much important. The next one, and it is most advanced and most visible and most operative force in Croatia. It is the Firefighting Association. We have more than 1,800 different firefighting associations in my country, and almost 90% of the people who are part of this firefighting association are volunteers. Because of that, it is once again important to support this kind of idea and to people be involved in different matters, non-physical or civilian retro approach, how you can improve your situation, your condition in your country. And on the end of the day, it is also part of the wider concept of state defense. And also we have few of the NGOs who are related to the search and rescue dogs. They breed, they teach, they train, and on the end of the day, they are engaged in search and rescue operations. So on the pictures, you can see the dogs we call them our friends, because dog is much more advanced tool. Dogs have much more possibility to search the area, to find the missed person, and also try to search for the person during the earthquakes. And because of that, we also have many people who like to be engaged, like volunteers in NGOs who are dealing with the search and rescue dogs. And finally, third approach, maybe it will be something new for you, but it is also very important because it has happened all over the world, especially in the different part of the world when you have the crisis, conflicts, and these kind of things. And first, I will start how we transferred or how we change our national security concept. You can see the picture is taken from Joint Special Operation University from the United States. And you can notice that after the World War II, then military was that service who provide most of the state defense for each of the country all over the world. After that, after the ending of the Cold War on the late 20th century, then military was once again the biggest security provider of each country, but also other services start to be also very important. And after some things are happened, and these days we have the situation that military is important, but additional services start to be also very important when we talk about national security, national defense, and everything what is related with public security, about defense in the country. And in this part of the services, it is some of what I show you in the previous slides. It's part of the volunteerism and these kind of things, but also something what I will show you, it is maybe a little bit proactive, but it is happened all over the world. We can talk about that we have private entities who provide the services all over the world in what we call direct participation in hostilities, training, logistic, strategic and administrative expertise, intelligence activities, and internal services. You probably heard for the Blackwater Company. It was during the mission in Afghanistan and Iraq. And right now it is the Wagner Company who provides some services for the Russian regime in the war in the Ukraine. What we can tell about these kind of companies? I'll show you examples, what I saw on the field, but also I wrote a book about that, and I finished my PhD about involvement of these kind of companies in field of national security. When I talk about private security companies in global war on terrorism, I will show examples from Afghanistan and from the Iraq. They arrived on the beginning of the war, and they become the most numerous force on the ground. After that, they were involved in many different services, in logistical support, maintenance, construction, and you can notice on the picture, it is president of Afghanistan on that time, Hamid Karzai, and Hamid Karzai was all the time protected by the Western private military companies. He was not protected by Afghan army, not Afghan police. He was protected by private military companies from the West. Third, very important, it is also when you intervene in some country, then you want to work on the security sector reform, because you probably you are pretty much sure that domestic military and domestic police don't have capacity to deal with the insurgents, to deal with the crimes. So you will find also private military companies or private security companies who are deal with the reconstruction of the military, example from Afghanistan and Iraq. The private military companies who are dealing with the police training. I was also part of the police training in Afghanistan, and also I cooperate with private companies on these security related tasks. The next topic, it is the task when you need to demobilize, and when you need to reintegrate the fighters back in society. You need also to collect ammunition, collect the weapon, and also you find that task inside of the security sector reform, and also you find private security companies in that field. Also, the biggest threat from Afghanistan, it is of course narcotics, and Afghanistan supply more than 90% of the heroin worldwide. Because of that, international community, by the military, civilian, and through also to the private security companies, also try to prevent this disease, what is happening in Afghanistan. And finally, maybe it is the most strong picture, it is the direct participation in hostilities. When you find your military to be attacked during your mission in some foreign countries, and then you will also find the private military or private security companies to be part of the same compound who was attacked, and these guys need to be jointly try to defend themselves from the insurgents. With that, I come to my conclusion. I will say in my conclusion 3 points. First, it is that state security or state defense, it is the concept developed in the interest that we make the framework from which or with which we will protect our country. The second one, that state defense can be implemented in different ways. Today, I show you 3 examples. It is by physical mean, it is by non-physical mean, and also using the private contractors in states related things. And third one, that some of these examples are presented, and you, like as students, also have opportunity to learn, to be good citizens, to learn about what is important, to obey constitutions, laws, and of course, to be part of your society. With that, I will conclude my presentation. Terima kasih banyak, and I'm looking forward for your questions. Thank you. Once again, terima kasih.
How to say thank you in your language?
It's very short. Hvala.
Hvala. Jadi ngucapin makasih ternyata dalam bahasa Kroasia hvala ya, Bu. Apa, Bu? Molim. 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 Molim, molim. Hvala and molim. Molim, eh? So we learn a new language, yeah, like a thank you and you're welcome in Croatian language. Jadi pemaparan yang sangat menarik, termasuk buat saya ya. Ini adalah bahasan yang baru gitu ya. Jadi Mr. Robert menyampaikan how to state defense as university student. We have a lot of different ways, not just take your gun going to war. It's not just like that. We have a different ways to state defense. Jadi tadi ya saya sudah sampaikan di awal, gimana sih caranya kita bela negara nih sebagai mahasiswa. Gak hanya kita ambil senjata terus pergi ke perang gitu kan. Kita nggak harus seperti itu sebagai mahasiswa sebagaimana. Jadi ada Mas Rama bisa tolong tampilin slide-nya tadi. I want to make a conclusion for our student in Bahasa, with your presentation. The interesting one, I write your the first slide, first or second slide. Okay, next. Okay, next. Oh iya, penasaran nggak sih tadi teman-teman ngelihatnya Mr. Robert Mikak nih kenapa bahasa militer terus gitu ya? Mungkin kalau yang tadi sudah mengerti ya, Mr. Robert Mikak ini adalah dulunya sebelum mengajar adalah tentara, soldier. Are you soldier before become a lecturer? You soldier in police, right? Ya, dulunya dia adalah tentara. Ya, tadi ada beberapa prestasi juga saya cukup nangkep yang waktu di Afghanistan dia adalah komandernya, pemimpin untuk menyelamatkan tahanan. Yeah. You save a lady in Afghanistan, right? Oh, Italian female. Jadi di Kabul City ya, di kota Kabul di Afghanistan itu ada wanita Itali yang diculik. Dia adalah bagian dari misi penyelamatan. Ya, jadi kalau teman-teman pernah nonton film gitu ya, film tentara menyelamatkan seseorang gitu ya, Mr. Robert Mikak ini terlibat langsung dalam kehidupan nyata gitu, nggak cuma di film. Ya, I explain to them if they have watching a movie about saving someone, saving Private Ryan, you involve indirectly in the real life. Ya, jadi kenapa tadi saya bilang ternyata Mr. Robert Mikak ini banyak prestasi di militernya sebelum sekarang, sejak tahun 2015, Mr. Robert Mikak itu mengajar di University of Zagreb di Kroasia. Tapi sebelumnya dia adalah tentara, terus banyak juga prestasinya tadi saya baca ya. Boleh tampilin slide-nya lagi, Mas? Oke. Next. Basic element. Coba ada basic element. No. Before I forget how basic elementnya, saya nggak kebaca. In this slide, introduction, Mr. Robert Mikak said basic element of defending the state. Jadi elemen dasarnya untuk pertahankan negara nih, bela negara adalah love your country, cintai dulu nih negara kalian sendiri. Kemudian national and state awareness, kita harus aware dengan negara kita, nggak boleh berpangku tangan ngelihat kasus-kasus yang terjadi di Indonesia terus diemin aja, nggak pernah ngambil tindakan sesuatu. Biasa anak BEM ya, kayak gitu ya kan ya. Kemudian obey the constitution. Obey itu artinya patuh terhadap konstitusi yang berlaku di negara kita. Ya. Kemudian willing to sacrifice for the nation. Berarti siap untuk berkorban buat negara sendiri. Ya, willing to sacrifice the nation. Ya, it's the sentence is interesting one. Love your country, national and state awareness, obey the constitution, willing to sacrifice to the nation. So this is the basic element to state defense, right? Oke, kemudian yang bawahnya adalah examples of state defense. Yang pertama adalah physical protection, ya, perlindungan fisik. Kemudian preserving culture, study hard. Nih ya, ada kalimat study hard. Apa study hard? Belajar yang giat ya, bukan belajar keras ya, belajar giat. Kemudian obey the laws, patuhi hukum, gitu ya. Bukan hukum untuk dilanggar, tapi untuk dipatuhi nih, obey the laws. Dan patuhi juga peraturan yang ada di negara kita. Terus yang paling saya menarik adalah kalimat yang paling terakhir tuh, buy domestic products. So one of the way to state defense is buy domestic products. Why? Can you explain just a little more?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. It is very important because of domestic production, domestic economy. If you buy domestic products, of course, that domestic people have the job, and it is very important. For example, I know that also Indonesia is a touristic country. It's very important that also to the culture, food, diplomacy, try to present your or culture or food, and it is your production, people who are living from that production, who are living in the rural part of Indonesia will have, they will have job, they will have, opportunities. And because of that, it is pretty much important that everybody of us, of course, we want to have good quality products, but also we need to have also that sense that it is pretty much obvious and mandatory to buy domestic products, to support our national production, to support our, our people who are living from that, and also it is some kind of promoting our country to the outer world, because of that it is pretty much important. I don't know if they have this kind of campaign in Indonesia, but it is pretty much usual for all European countries and also for my country that we all the time government invests a lot of money in advertisement that that on the television that we have info about the domestic products, also the local communities, cities, regional government, they organize the exhibition of the local food, local wine, this kind of production, and people all over the country and from the foreign country arrive for these shows. And it is every point I want to address. It is not just one single important point. It is whole picture that we need to look up. Thank you.
Thank you. Jadi tadi ada kalimat paling terakhir ya, saya tanya cara untuk bela negara salah satunya adalah buy domestic products, beli produk negara sendiri. Itu kenapa sih? Kok kita bisa terlibat bela negara dengan membeli produk sendiri? Ternyata kata Mr. Robert Mikak nih barusan, kenapa kalau kita beli produk negara sendiri itu kan bakal meningkatkan, kalau ekonomi ngomongnya PDB ya, bakal meningkatkan pendapatan negara, pendapatan daerah. Dengan adanya produk lokal itu laku, bakal ngebuka lapangan kerja baru. Ya, artinya kalau lapangan kerja baru itu terbuka, banyak orang yang nggak nganggur, banyak orang yang bekerja, tingkat kriminalitas juga bisa menurun. Ya kan? Terus kita bisa promosi juga tadi dengan produk-produk lokal, entah itu local food atau local traditional, local outfit segala macam. Jadi sebagai mahasiswa, ternyata bela negara juga bisa dari seperti itu. Beli nih produk negara sendiri, produk daerah lokal sendiri. Ya, mungkin kalau yang di Lampung pakai tapis ya, kan tapis sekarang sudah modern ya Bu ya. Sekarang tapis kan sudah bisa dipakai untuk kepakaian sehari-hari, nggak harus dalam acara-acara tertentu. Gitu ya, tampilin lagi dong Mas slide-nya. Oke, next slide. Oke, dibilang di sini adalah physical atau military related approach. Yang pertama adalah defense the country, preparation for defense of the country, support the civil institution during crisis. Jadi di sini tadi Mr. Robert ngejelasin bahwa bela negara itu ada yang namanya physical approach atau pendekatan fisik atau militer relate. Maybe this one is not directly connect to university student maybe. Ya. Yeah. Masih mas, jangan dilangin mas, saya bingung ntar. Oke, jadi ini nggak harus langsung terkoneksi dengan mahasiswa ya untuk bela negara, tapi adalah salah satu contohnya adalah military relate. Jadi di beberapa negara itu ada namanya wajib militer, ya. Next mas, next slide. Tadi saya lihat ada. Terus lagi, ya terus. Oke, tadi pokoknya saya baca tadi beberapa negara itu melaksanakan wajib militer. Itu belum terjadi di Indonesia. Kalau mungkin teman-teman yang perempuan tahunya di Korea ya. Di Korea kan wajib militer berapa tahun gitu ya? Berapa tahun sih? 2. Saya nggak tahu ya. Kalau di Eropa saya baca tadi wajib militernya 1 minggu sampai 1 bulan. 1 week until 1 month to conscription, military conscription. Yeah, in South Korea maybe 2 years. Yeah. In Taiwan 1 year. What in your country? 1 year. Wow. Jadi kalau di Kroasia sendiri itu ada wajib militer 1 tahun. Jadi kalau di beberapa negara Eropa ada 1 minggu sampai 1 bulan, di Kroasia itu 1 tahun. Di Indonesia berapa lama? Belum ada. Mau nggak sih? Kalau misalnya di Indonesia ada wajib militer tuh? MPKM. Oke, yang kelanjutnya Mas, yang unphysically approach, kalau nggak salah tadi unphysically approach. Iya, nanti Bu, ada permintaan saya harus ngejelasin dulu tadi materi yang disampaikan Mr. Robert Mikak. Terus sampai unphysically kalau nggak salah. Terus. Oke, stop. Nih, yang tadi dibilang ada cara kedua nih, state defense, unphysical atau civilian related approach. Yang pertama adalah education, kemudian civil of defense, dan yang ketiga adalah volunteerism. Ya, education, buka Mas yang education. Nih, jadi unphysical civilian related approach, education termasuk kalian ya, selagi menempuh pendidikan nih. Kan semakin tinggi ilmunya, tadi Mr. Robert Mikang nyampaikan, semakin tinggi ilmunya, semakin pintar kalian, artinya kalian lebih bisa berpikir secara logis. Ya, nggak sembarangan berpikir, ngambil keputusan bisa secara bijak, dan itu untuk bela negara juga lebih baik dibanding orang yang tidak menempuh pendidikan. Ya, bukan berarti yang tidak menempuh pendidikan itu nggak pintar, bukan, tapi lebih bijak, lebih punya banyak ilmu. Ya, mungkin kalau yang nggak sekolah gitu ya, untuk ngitung matematika agak lambat, tapi dengan kalian sekolah kan ngitung matematika cepat ya. Terus ngambil keputusan juga lebih bijak. Terus Mas, yang kedua tadi. Terus yang kedua, civil defense at the level of state strategic companies. State strategic companies have an obligation to participate in, sabar, lagi baca, in civil preparation for the defense of the country. At the level of individuals, some countries have developed concept of territorial defense in which all citizens are obligation. Oh, ini tadi dibilangin, kalau di levelnya individual, di beberapa negara ada yang wajibin ya, wajib militer. Kemudian yang ketiga tadi volunteerism. Volunteerism itu artinya adalah sukarelawan. Ya, jadi nggak harus kalian jadi tentara ngambil senjata, saya bilang tadi, bisa jadi relawan, sukarelawan ya. Seperti kalau ada bencana alam, gitu ya, ada bencana alam kalian jadi volunteer, jadi tim penyelamatnya gitu ya, tapi tentu dengan ilmu ya, nggak bisa sembarangan. Kemudian kalau ada perang gitu, kalian bisa jadi tim penyelamat juga, kayak tim SAR dan segala macamnya, itu kita bisa terlibat di situ. Oke, langsung ke conclusion, yang paling terakhir ada conclusion, slide akhir. Oke, conclusion, bela negara is a concept developed in the interest of maintaining the existence of that country. Jadi bela negara itu adalah sebuah konsep ya untuk memaintain eksistensi dari negara kita. Jadi bela negara itu gitu ya, konsep untuk membangun ketertarikan dan eksistensi dari negara kita. Kemudian kedua, state defense can be implemented in different ways. Nanti kalian bisa tanya ya. Jadi bela negara itu bisa diimplementasikan dengan berbagai cara. Ya, mungkin sebelum kalian masuk hari ini, bela negara tuh taunya ya militer, bela negara tuh tugasnya tentara, tugasnya polisi, enggak ternyata ya. Kita sebagai yang dari education juga bisa terlibat ternyata dalam bela negara. Kemudian yang terakhir adalah state. Some examples were presented during the lecture. Jadi beberapa contoh itu were presented during, dicontohkan juga dalam pembelajaran sehari-hari ya sama dosen. Jadi dosen juga punya peran penting ternyata Ibu Bapak untuk bisa menerapkan bela negara ke mahasiswanya. Ya itu tadi sedikit pemaparannya. Nanti kalau pengen tahu lebih jelas, pengen slide-nya lengkap, nanti kita ada ya. kita bisa translatein bareng-bareng, terus atau bisa menonton lagi di YouTube-nya Sabura ya. Saya nggak promo YouTube-nya Sabura, nanti bisa nonton di situ. Ya, ada translate-nya nanti. Ya Mas Rama ya, ada subtitle-nya ya, abis ini ya. Oke, we're going to Q&A session, question and answer session. So Mr. Robert Mika, expect you have a lot of question about today, about state defense. Do you have any question? Student? Okay. Ada mikrofon ya, bisa dikasih.
Okay. Let me introduce myself. My name is Yasi Padarini from Faculty of Law. I want to ask, in 2020, the Croatian side has approved the appointment of the defense attaché and air attaché of the Republic of Indonesia, which are accredited for Croatian. And I don't understand about that. Can you explain it? And is that also included is defending the country, and what are the examples?
Did you understand about the question?
Can you repeat once again?
Okay.
Slowly.
Okay. In 2020, the Croatian side has approved the appointment of the defense attaché. Is that correct? Attaché or attache is a pronunciation. Attaché. The pronunciation. And air attaché of the Republic of Indonesia, which are accredited for Croatia. And is that the defending attaché is included in defending the country, and what are the examples?
Thank you very much.
And I want to the question, and we were talking about the military service in Croatia is 1 year, all right? Is that for everyone, all gender, or just a man? Okay, thank you very much.
Terima kasih. Thank you. Regarding to the second question, previously was mandatory conscript service for men. 10 years ago, we stopped with that mandatory. Right now, it is voluntary. You can, like a man and also female, you can enroll yourself. You can go to the defense office and you say that you want to be part of the conscript service. Right now, it is 3 months for the men and female who want to serve the country on that way. And if you finish that 3 months, of course, that you don't in these 3 months just learn how to deal and how to use the weapon. You also learn about, first aid. You learn about topology. You learn some additional things. And when you finish that 3 months, of course, that you get knowledge, but also get some pluses. When you want to enter the faculty, you have some benefits because of that. Additionally, for example, I teach at the military academy over there. We have approximately 40% of the all cadets are female. That means that 60% are men and 40% are female. And also at Croatian Military Academy, we teach cadets not just from Croatia, but also from the neighboring country, from Bosnia and Herzegovina, from Montenegro, from Kosovo, and from North Macedonia. That means it is international. And on that way, we learn our cadets, the main courses are related with the security and also with the defense, but also they have political science courses, they have courses from the history, from the management, and these kind of things. So it is answer on the first question. Some countries still all over the world have mandatory conscript service. For example, it is South Korea, it is Taiwan, it is Russia, and it is the examples. And regarding to your first question, it was about the defense attaché, isn't it? And between Indonesia and Croatia, something like that, or I missed the point of question.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Ari, thank you very much. Where have you been until now? Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Di sini saya ingin membantu, but sorry I will talk in bahasa. Jadi di sini saya ingin turut membantu menjawab tentang kenapa sih kok atas pertahanan Indonesia ditolak oleh Kroasia, begitu bukan? Pertanyaannya tadi. Jadi sebagai informasi bahwasanya atas pertahanan Indonesia itu yang berkedudukan di Serbia memang ditolak oleh Kroasia. Jadi yang ditolak itu bukan atas pertahanannya Indonesia, tapi berkedudukan di Serbia karena Kroasia salah satu wilayah atau bergabung ke Uni Eropa, mereka ingin atas pertahanan Indonesia itu rangkapan dari negara yang ada di Uni Eropa. Jadi sekarang sudah dirangkap, jadi maksudnya sudah dirangkap oleh atas pertahanan Indonesia yang ada di Perancis. Jadi yang ada di Paris itu turut membawahi wilayah Kroasia. Jadi sebagai informasi ya buat adik-adik, saya berdinas di Kedutaan Besar Indonesia Zagreb di Kroasia selama 4,5 tahun sejak 2017. Di sana kita banyak belajar, kita juga banyak mengetahui beberapa hal termasuk betapa pentingnya kita menjaga NKRI, menjaga negara kesatuan, karena Kroasia ini adalah bagian salah satu pecahan dari negara Yugoslavia. Jadi Yugoslavia itu pecah menjadi 6 negara, Kroasia, Bosnia Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, Macedonia Utara, dan salah satunya adalah Slovenia. Di sini masih ada sisa-sisa hubungan yang tidak baik-baik saja di antara negara pecahan. Itu tadi sebabnya kenapa sebelumnya negara atas pertahanan itu dirangkap oleh Indonesia mengusulkan supaya atas pertahanan yang berada di Serbia merangkap wilayah Kroasia. Tapi Kroasia ingin dirangkap oleh negara ataupun atas militer kita, atas pertahanan kita yang ada di Uni Eropa. Jadi bukan atas pertahanan kita yang ditolak oleh Kroasia, tetapi mereka menginginkan atas pertahanan yang berkedudukan di negara Uni Eropa dan saat ini sudah dirangkap oleh atas pertahanan yang ada di Paris. Jadi di sini juga adik-adik perlu ketahui tidak pasti satu negara itu satu kedutaan besar. Jadi misalnya Indonesia ada beberapa rangkapan, misalnya KBRI, Kedutaan Besar Republik Indonesia yang ada di Wina, Austria, itu merangkap wilayah Slovenia, melangkap beberapa wilayah. Jadi tidak harus satu negara, satu KBRI. Begitu juga dengan atase. Ada atase pertahanan, ada atase militer, ada atase imigrasi, ada atase ketenaga kerjaan gitu. Dan mungkin ini bisa jadi motivasi buat adik-adik nanti. Belajar bahasa Inggris yang bagus, setelah lulus dari sini bisa mendaftar di Kementerian Luar Negeri, nanti adik-adik bisa menjadi diplomat, bisa bekerja di KBRI. Terima kasih.
Jelas ya untuk pertanyaan pertama ya tadi ya. Ternyata saya juga baru tahu ternyata kedubes itu nggak harus satu negara satu kedubes ya Bu. Di Wina Austria itu ternyata mengcover juga Slovenia. Ya. Saya tahu Yugoslavia dulu masih kecil tuh ternyata pecah jadi 6 negara. Ini tadi pesannya udah tahu ya Bu, itu Ibu Ari ya dari pemerintah kota ya Bu. Pemerintah kota ya Bu? Oh pemerintah provinsi Lampung. Bu Ari dulu kerjanya di Kedutaan Besar Indonesia di Kroasia ya Bu, di Zagreb ya, selama 4,5 tahun. Ada yang mau gantiin Bu Ari nanti suatu saat? Bisa ya, belajar bahasa Inggris dulu ya. Tadi Bu Ari pesan belajar bahasa Inggris, apa tahu nanti kalian daftar di Kemenlu bisa gantiin. Ini saya juga bisa ya Bu? Bisa ya? Jadi kapan kita ke Kroasia Bu? Bu mahasiswa kita kapan ke Kroasia bisa ya? Ada lagi? Is there any another question from student? Oh yeah, please give tolong kasihin mikrofon ya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
First of all, Let me introduce myself. My name is Ulisa Prilia. I am the student of the first semester from the Faculty of Social and Political Science, majors of public administration. I have a question for Mr. Roberts, and the question is how to create the awareness of the state defending for students who are reluctant to care about their surroundings. Thank you.
Did you get it, the question? Ya. Ya. Bisa ulangin pelan-pelan sedikit?
The question is how to create the awareness of state defending for students who are reluctant to care about their surroundings.
Very much for the question.
Thank you, sir.
It is not so hard, because the topics about state defense can be involved in the subjects related to the political science. It can become something what is mandatory to learn at the faculty level. Then next, what I can see, it can be also some online educational program can be developed very easily, not so expensive, where students can learn about state defense, about the different aspects of state defense. Third possibilities maybe, to sometimes try to get from different national institutions, for example, Defense University, to give the lecturer who will give the guest lecture regarding to that field. So possibilities are pretty much wide. Just your imagination, it is limit, because everybody of us need to be involved in protection of our state, and everybody on its level need to contribute to that effort. For example, the people who are working for the state, for the military police, of course, it is their professional duty. But also, rest of us who are working at the faculty, university level, we cannot allow to ourselves to be outside of these processes. So we can educate ourselves by ourselves. We can try to exchange the knowledge with the other colleagues. We try to have, for example, a special issue. If your faculty or a university have some scientific journal which will publish the articles, you can have a special issue regarding to these subjects, and you can try to involve your students to work, on the essays regarding to that and to be published. So it is different way of possibilities how to deal with that. But what I told you, it is just your imagination. It is the limit. It is plenty of possibilities. Thank you very much for the question.
Yes, sir.
Oh, bisa tambahkan jawabannya mungkin, Bu? Iya, nggak apa-apa, bahasa.
Tadi sebenarnya sudah ditayangkan ya, bagaimana increase-nya itu menciptakannya itu. Satu kata tadi yang dalam PPTX Mr. Robert adalah study hard. Study hard in many ways, in many aspects, in many purpose, I think. Jadi mulai dari mana? Jadi mahasiswa yang jujur. Jadi mahasiswa yang jujur, yang konsisten, yang bisa dipercaya. Ini seperti itu. Jadi Indonesia memang sudah mempunyai undang-undang pertahanan nasional. Tadi saya katakan nomor 3 tahun 2002. Tetapi memang belum dijalankan secara physically, approach ya. Namun bukan berarti kita tidak merasa mempunyai obligation, tidak mempunyai kewajiban seperti itu. Kita mulailah dari hal-hal yang kita sebut kalau anak-anak gaul sekarang remeh-temeh ya. Satu hal tadi yang menarik juga dari penyaji mengatakan bahwa mulai dari mencintai produk dalam negeri gitu. Nah, kondisi masyarakat kita sekarang malah terbalikan gitu kan. Kalau nggak nyandang tas branded gitu ya, kalau nggak pakai fashion yang outfit yang iksang loreng seperti itu ya, itu kayaknya enggak banget gitu, sehingga bahkan sebaliknya kita melakukan hal yang tidak terpuji dengan berusaha mencari imitasi, yang penting orang bisa membaca merek itu. Nah ini barangkali satu hal atau satu pemikiran yang ridiculous gitu ya, apa sih ibu gitu bilang, tapi persoalan kita it's about about moral, about attitude. Nah itu yang harus dulu dibangun seperti, jadi walaupun sudah ada undang-undang ya nggak berarti seperti itu. Mungkin dari saya itu dulu, terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih. Sudah jelas ya dari pertanyaannya. Ada
Bisa.
lagi?
Tapi Pak Aldi, saya minta tolong ditranslate apa tadi yang saya bicarakan. Takut beliau nanti ngerumpiin gitu ya.
Oh iya, saya lupa. Miss Ines said about the question how to increase the awareness of state defense. Mrs. Ina said about, like I told you before, like honest, being the student honest, trustworthy, and consistent. Yeah, and then yeah, like you said, by the local products. So increasing the awareness of state defense, you can doing in another ways. And there is no plagiarism. You should write your or make your homework by yourself. Jadi gitu ya. Tadi Bu Ino nyampein juga nggak plagiarisme gitu ya. Buat tugas itu nggak banyak nyari dari Google, kopas tempel gitu, enggak ya. Tapi coba buat dengan diri sendiri. Terus Mr. Robert juga bilang tadi exchange the knowledge ya, pertukaran ilmu. Kalau kalian dari Fakultas Hukum nggak harus dari Fakultas Hukumnya, bisa coba belajar dari yang lain ya. Ilmu itu kan luas ya. Benar ya. Kemudian is there any another question? Okay, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
My name is Naufal Muzaki Hernanda. I'm from Law Faculty. I have one question. I see one of inside the point of your presentation, there's preserve culture. Is it some of us thought that just outdated? Is it just to what's the connection between preserved culture and implementation of state defense, or just to defend our identity as an Indonesian? Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. It is all connected and it is all important, because we need to look wider picture. Defending of our country is not just defending, by the military and somebody will attack us. It is also defending our culture, our identity, our ideas of how we are living and what society want to have. For example, I will tell you, in my country, we have national security strategy. We have 4 national interests, and one of national interests is to defend, our cultural identity, our tradition, and it is something what we employ a lot of efforts, not just, by the military. You cannot defend your cultural identity by the army, but you can defend your cultural identity, first of all, to be decent, honest citizen, to obey the laws, to study hard, to be citizens of the world, to understand what is happened all over the world. And after that, you also to respect another, to another culture, another people. It is very important. And especially it is important, for example, for the small countries. In Europe, most of the countries are small countries. Indonesia, we compare it with Europe, it is big country, and also when we talk about territory, and also when we talk about the size of population. But also Indonesia have the foreign influences in your country. So because of that, it is also necessary that you develop your cultural identity, to preserve your cultural language tradition, and protect it from the foreign influence. Some of the foreign influence are positive, because of English language is overall the world, and because of that, we understand each other. But you need to take care that you don't use your history, that don't use your language, your tradition. It is important. On that way, you will defend your country. Thank you very much.
Jadi saya coba sampaikan ya, saya menyimpulkan sedikit tadi pertanyaannya, apa sih hubungannya kalau kita mempertahankan budaya tadi ya dengan bela negara itu. Jadi tadi Mr. Robert jelaskan kenapa sih kita harus mempertahankan budaya kita, identitas negara kita. Karena kebanyakan sekarang banyak influence dari luar gitu ya, dari luar negara Indonesia yang kita bahkan lupa dengan budaya kita. Kita lebih tahu tentang budaya luar dibanding budaya sendiri. Nah itu kita harus pertahankan negara kita dengan identitas dari budaya itu tadi. Ya, jadi ada beberapa budaya dari luar yang positif. Mr. Robert tadi nyampaikan ada yang positif, contoh seperti budaya dari luar bahasa Inggris. Itu penting kan buat kita, itu budaya dari luar. Tapi jangan sampai cintai juga budaya Indonesia atau bahasa Indonesia. Tapi kebanyakan budaya luar mengikis identitas kita. Ya, mungkin kalau saya bisa bilang sekarang, teman-teman lebih hafal nama personil boyband dibanding pahlawan Indonesia. Ya, apal nih A sampai Z tahu nih nama boybandnya siapa gitu ya. Tapi kalau ditanya pahlawan dari Sumatera Utara siapa, bingung. Mungkin itu yang perlu ditekankan sama Mr. Robert tadi, cintai negaranya sendiri. Nanti disitulah peran kalian untuk bela negara. Ya, jangan sampai nanti ada orang dari luar datang nanya pahlawan dari Lampung siapa? Gak bisa jawab. Tahu ya, pahlawan dari Lampung? Gitu deh. Ada lagi pertanyaan berikutnya? Ada yang bertanya, kita masih punya waktu sekitar 10 menit. Ada lagi? Ya, silakan.
My name is Dery Putra Pratama. I'm student from Faculty of Law. I want to ask, how were culinaire special food from Lampung that you like very much? Thank you.
Makanan ya? Dery tadi nanya makanan ya? Makanan, bener ya? Makanan favoritnya ya? Yeah. He asked about what is your favorite food from Lampung?
Thank you very much. It's very important. Yeah. Last evening when I arrived to the Lampung, we have the dinner, domestic dinner, and also during the lunch we have also Indonesian dinner, Indonesian lunch. So I like it very, very much. It is full of color, full of taste. It is a little bit spicy, yeah, a little bit spicy, a little bit, yeah. But I enjoy it. In Europe, we don't have, so much color in our food. It is not so tasty, and because of that, it is pretty much. I'm pleased to be here to have opportunity to meet a different, nice people, and also to enjoy in your friendship, in your hospitality, and also especially in your food. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Jadi Mr. Robert bilang dia tertarik dengan makanan yang di Indonesia karena di Eropa makanannya nggak terlalu berwarna, kita colorful ternyata warna, terus punya taste yang nggak itu aja, lebih banyak ke spicy-nya, ya. Jadi Mr. Robert nggak nyebutin salah satu makanan, tapi dia suka semua makanan Indonesia, terutama ngelihatnya kalau disajikan di meja makan tuh menarik warnanya ya. Ternyata gitu ya. Ada lagi pertanyaan berikutnya? Oh iya, tadi Mr. Robert juga singgung bahwa dia menyukai keramah tamahan orang Indonesia, suka senyum, friendshipnya, persahabatan Indonesia, jaga itu ya maksudnya. Dia like hospitality, friendship of Indonesian person, right? Is there any question? We still have only 5 minutes more before we close this state event. Yes, Miss Julie. Kemana nih? Yes, it's on.
Assalamualaikum. Tes. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Julie. The month of 7th July.
July. The name of
Firstly, thank you,
month.
sir. Tes.
Okay. Firstly, thank you, sir, for coming in Indonesia, especially in Bandar Lampung. Thank you. Welcome to Indonesia. I would like to ask some question, maybe from your personal opinion. Since you are military, ex-military, and now you are a lecturer, what is your message for all the students about how not to be racist, how to spread tolerance, since we are also have immigrants in our country and also in your country. So what is your message as a lecturer and also as an ex-military to spread all the students here, so we are not being racist, not being radical, and we accept very high tolerance among others, among races, among race, among religions. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you get it, the question? Yeah.
Dear Julie, thank you very much for your question, and it is very important question, and also I will try to give the answer as possible what I could. The world around us, it is full of challenges, and you mentioned some of them. How we can deal with these kind of challenges? You mentioned that we have also immigrants in our country, that we have also different challenges. So we need to be tolerate like a person and also like a community, because people who are leaving their country or they are migrants or refugees, they have the reason why they are leaving their country. And they don't want to leave their country because just to come for another place to live over there. They are forced to move, and we need to realize that. And like people and also like students, we need to educate ourselves what is the situation in all over the world, why people are fleeing their countries. What is the solutions? For example, we have the climate migrations. Many people all over the world, for example, especially in Africa, are forced to move because the territory where they live, it is not possible to live anymore. Also, you have, after some natural or man-made disasters, you have also the people who need to leave because it is not possible to live anymore on that territory. Also, right now, you have more than 10 of the conflicts all over the world, and not just war in Ukraine, and people are forced to leave their homes. And we need to understand that people are coming in our societies because they are forced to leave. And we need also to have that possibility to accept the people, to help them, and try to be as much as possible good guests. I know it is very hard, and it is the challenge all over the world. It is the challenge in Europe, but we need to be modest. We need to be moral people. We need to be tolerant people. We need to be very ethical people, and try to help the persons, the families, and the people who are in the need that need to be helped. And if we are religious people, each religion all over the world teaches us that we need to help to the people who need the help. It is also important message. We get that in religion, we get that in education, like what we have. We have that like citizens of our society. It is common sense that we need to help the people who need to get the help. So thank you on your question. It is very important, and we need to be tolerant about that. We need to learn about that, and of course, in our possibilities to help the people who need the help.
Yeah, since myself as a foreign nationals, when I live outside my own country, I need to be still safe. Like, thank you so much for your answer, sir.
Thank you. Jadi tadi Miss Julie nanya, ada nggak sih pesan buat kita semua nih supaya nggak jadi rasis, nggak jadi radikal, gitu ya Miss Julie ya? Supaya ada nggak sih pesannya? Tadi Mr. Robert jawab bahwa itu sangat penting ya supaya kita nggak jadi rasis dan radikal dan lain-lain dengan cara we need to tolerate gitu. Jadi kita perlu bertoleransi dengan adanya perbedaan ya. Jadi jangan pernah lagi pakai physical abusement gitu ya, ngomongin lu hitam gitu, jangan ya. Ya itu nggak boleh kayak gitu, itu namanya rasis. Jadi kita harus toleransi karena Tuhan nyiptain kita tuh berbeda-beda, kita harus terima manusia lain, orang lain, karena kita nggak tahu ke depannya nanti siapa tahu kita butuh dengan orang yang pernah kita rendahkan gitu ya. Jadi kita selalu positive thinking juga. Kemudian tadi Mr. Robert nyinggung seperti di Eropa sekarang tuh banyak imigran dan refugee, imigran dan pengungsi, refugee ya, dari Ukraina, keluar dari Ukraina untuk tinggal di negara-negara sekitar Ukraina atau jauh malah dari Ukraina karena kondisi yang tidak aman. Nah di situ adalah perannya supaya kita nggak rasis segala macam, kita perlu menolong, kita harus educate yourself gitu ya, educate yourself untuk kita harus menolong orang lain. Karena tadi Mr. Robert juga bilang di setiap agama, tadi saya senang dia bilang di setiap agama tuh ngajarin kita untuk jadi penolong, untuk nolong sesama. Ya, nggak terbatas agamanya apa, kulitnya apa, bangsa apa, kita harus jadi orang baik yang bisa menolong orang lain. Gitu ya. Keren ya jawabannya ya. Tepuk tangan dong. Maybe the last question. Is there the last question? Honestly, 2 hours is not enough for us. But yeah, we know you are tired now, 2 days from Europe to Indonesia. So I think that's enough. Habis? Nggak ada lagi yang mau tanya? Nggak ada? Last question nggak ada ya? Okay, I think that's enough. Thank you for coming to our university today. I hope this is not the last meeting. I hope this is the continue meeting. Next year you can come back to our university. Maybe not just alone with your family, maybe. Because Lampung we have a lot of place you need to visit with your family. Yeah, please come back to our university. Oke, teman-teman mahasiswa, itu tadi ya, kita sudah dapat kuliah umum dari 2 pemateri yang hebat hari ini. Yang pertama adalah Mr. Robert Mikak yang langsung datang dari Kroasia, dari Universitas Zagreb, ya, University of Zagreb, itu ibu kotanya Kroasia. Kemudian yang kedua ada Ibu Dr. Ino Susanti SHMH. Beliau adalah dosen tetap kita ya di Fakultas Hukum di Universitas Bumi Ruwa Jurai. Semoga apa yang diberikan oleh kedua pemateri hari ini gak cuma berlalu aja, tapi dapat terus berlanjut ya. Ilmunya yang didapat hari ini bisa bermanfaat bagi kita semua. Sekali lagi saya mohon giving applause to more presenter today. Thank you, sir. Ya, sesi berikutnya sebelum saya tutup ya, mungkin kita akan foto bersama ya, mau ya? We want to taking a picture with you and the student. Can you come? Yeah, I know. We want to taking a picture with student, and before the student bisa Bapak Ibu dulu, Bapak Ibu pengurus, Bapak Ibu Bu Rektor, Bu Dekan, Pak Dekan, bisa untuk ke depan we want to taking a picture with you. With a lot of staff or rector and dean in our university. Nanti kita fotonya ini ya, per fakultas ya, bareng dekannya ya. Jadi kan 20-20 ya mahasiswanya. Check and in the middle. Balance, Pak. Voila. For Mr. Robert, please stay. We won't call the students. Ya, oke. Law faculty, Fakultas Hukum, mahasiswanya bisa maju. You stay here. We want to take a picture with students from law faculty. Law faculty bisa diatur. Bu Ino tetap Bu. Moderator sama ininya tetap Bu. Ayo, diatur. Kasih saya spasi sedikit ya. Saya moderatornya kan. Yuk. Thank you. Next faculty. Teknik faculty. Fakultas teknik yuk, maju yuk. Pak dekannya nggak ada ya? Oke. Teknik, fakultas teknik. Oh, FISIP. Politics and Science faculty. It's your faculty in Zagreb. This one, Politics and Science faculty from University of Bumi Ruwa Jurai. FISIP, Politics and Science faculty. Rame ya, FISIP rame ya. Silakan diatur fotografer gimana ngaturnya. Di belakang ya, di belakang. Di belakang saya bisa mungkin di tengah, di belakangnya tengah nih. Di sini. Jangan di pinggir belakangnya, di situ. Agak geser. Terus. Ayo dong, rapat. Ayo rapat, nggak apa-apa. Ya, udah balance. Udah, ini jangan kosong dong. Rapat dong, rapat. Jangan kosong, jangan grogi. Don't be nervous with Mr. Robert Mikak. They are so nervous behind you. Okay. Please put off your masker. Thank you. Teknik faculty, Fakultas Teknik, yuk. Fakultas Teknik, nanti terakhir ekonomik ya. Teknik faculty, iya Bu Indri bisa mewakilin Pak Dekan ya. Pak Anwar juga, silakan Pak. Yuk. Teknik diatur posisinya. Belum bubar ya, masih di dalam dulu ya, belum dibubarkan ya. Ya kita tertib dulu, masih di dalam, sebentar lagi. Alga kalau tinggi itu di pinggir, alga tinggi di tengah. How? Okay, the last one, economic faculty, economic faculty, the last one. Okay. Ekonomi, fakultas ekonomi, bisa maju. Oke, sudah pas? The last one, we are, okay, Mr. Yeah, sorry, one last time with all the stuff, ya. Ya, oke. Oke, Mbak Santi, silakan maju. Silakan maju. Staffnya. Thank you. We can go back to our seats. So we want to close this. Yeah. Okay, we are finished taking a picture with Mr. Robert Mikek. So this is the end of our implementation of state defense today. Thank you for Mr. Mikek. I hope, yeah, I told you before, I expect you can come back next year. Yeah, so jika ada salah kata saya mohon maaf ya. Semoga hari ini semuanya dapat manfaat dari apa yang disampaikan oleh Mr. Robert Mikek dan Bu Dr. Inosanti. Wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oh iya.
Berikutnya kami persilakan kepada Mr. Robert untuk dapat menerima plakat dari Universitas Sabrang.
Mr. We just forget. Our rector want to give you just some plaque to you. Where's the plaque? Giving to, yeah. Yeah. This is a small present from our university to you. Yeah, maybe after this one. Okay. And Mr. Robert Mika also have a small present to our university, right? Can Adi mau foto lagi. Nggak boleh.